Well, the Ohio State Buckeyes, a team that wildly exceeded most people's expectations a year ago, got as high as number 8 in the nation after being picked 11th in the Big Ten in the preseason writers poll. Of course, lost Keita Bates-Diop, the Big Ten Player of the Year. Chris Holtmann winning Big Ten Coach of the Year as they captured 25 games, most ever for a first-year Ohio State head coach. And Chris Holtmann is with us now with C.J. Jackson and Andre Wesson. I say you guys wildly exceeded expectations a year ago. You exceeded my expectations, and I think the expectations externally. Did you guys, when you were here last year, did you feel like, as everyone kind of said, oh, well, first year, you'll see where it goes, that kind of thing, were you guys thinking, you know what, I think we could be pretty good, or were you surprised by how well it went?
Admittedly, I think a little surprised. We did feel like as we got into the month of practice that we felt like we had a group that was coachable. We felt like we had a couple seniors who were poised to have really good years. Fourth-year player in Caden, senior in Jay-Sean Tate. But you never know at this point. And we did have some questions. Like this year, we have a lot of questions that we have to answer.
Do you guys even think of it in those terms, CJ? Like, did you go into last year and say, we're going to be the 11th place team or the 3rd place team, or do you just kind of go out and say, this is what we got?
No, just in the beginning of the year, Coach did a really good job just telling us day by day just to take it that way. And once we did that and came in with that mindset, we were able just to take care of what was just in front of us. And so we look up later in the Big Ten, and we're at the top of the standings.
How about for you, Andre? Were you surprised?
No, I mean, I knew we had some talent on the team, and I knew that we had great leadership with JT and Keita, so I knew that if we put our minds to it and just followed the plan that Coach Holt had for us, we could do something special.
You guys do lose a lot of experience. I mean, you talked about Keita, you talk about Jay-Sean. How do you kind of fill in for their absence on this team? What are the pieces that need to come together for you guys to be back up there toward the top of the standings?
I mean, I just think we've worked hard over the summer. We got great leadership with CJ, myself, and Joey. So I feel like if we just continue to do what we're doing and continue with Coach Holt, I mean, we can do something special again.
How about from your point of view, CJ?
Yeah, Andre definitely hit it on the head. I don't think it has to be just one guy in particular. I think it's definitely going to be times where we're going to have guys step up into that new leadership role. It's wide open for anyone to take. And we're excited to see what the new guys can bring as far as leadership. And I think so far in practice, they've done a really good job just, expressing how they feel about the team.
What's interesting about it is it doesn't really seem like people totally learned their lesson, because once again, you guys are being picked pretty low. What do you think of the fact that the expectations for this team aren't all that high?
I think internally you're always having high expectations, Dave. And I think the exciting thing for us is, while there are questions, admittedly, we understand that, it's exciting to have returning guys that are going to step into new and different roles and increased roles. And obviously both these guys played a major role in last year's team doing what it did. But we have a lot of new faces, 6 new faces. And I think I understand the questions surrounding our group and our team. And this is kind of what this time of year is about. We got to go about trying to answer some of those.
What were the biggest things you learned about the Big Ten your first time through?
Fantastic places to play, incredible environments. Obviously, there's a reason we've led the nation in attendance as long as we have. Really good coaches. I think, Dave, that our league is going to be really good and deep this year. I think when you look at some of the teams, just the projections of 6 through 14, a lot of those teams have a lot of guys back, really good coaches. I think it's going to be a really good overall year for our league.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit off the top with John Crispin and Stephen Bardo and Andy Cash, just the depth of this league and this notion that really this year, and I know sometimes it sounds trite, but there really won't be any nights off. I mean, there is truly no bottom of this league. And then when you add on the fact 20 conference games, how do you get ready for that grind mentally, CJ?
It started in the summer. Coaches did a big job on enforcing getting your bodies right, taking care of business in the summer that will prepare you for the preseason. which is gone now, and now we're into the practice, the start of practice. And so once we were able to, take care of things kind of step by step, once we get to those 20 games, which is always going to be a grind, it's going to be tough for us. And we know that going in. So we're just going to prepare ourselves as best we can for it.
Andre, I was really impressed with the way your game took a jump last year, particularly towards the end of the year. So how do you take what happened there and build on it for this year?
Yeah, like you said, just keep building. I mean, this summer was a big summer for me. Last year I didn't have a real summer, so just getting this summer and working on things I need to work on, I think it was big, and I think it'll help me.
This was such a good team defensively a year ago. What's the process from a player's point of view and from a coach's point of view of getting guys to buy in on that end of the court?
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think it was a leadership thing. Last year, JT and Kayla, they were real big on defense and locking in. So, it's a real leadership thing and getting people to buy in on defensive end.
CJ?
Kind of Andre hit it. The biggest thing that we had going for us was defense, and Coach Holt, when he came in, he emphasized that's what we're going to be about. No matter if we're, making every shot in the first half or the second half, we can always hang our hat on the defensive end. And when we go in the locker room, we kind of joke around just being like, your guy kind of, went off tonight, kind of things like that. And so you don't ever want to be that guy. And so when it comes down to it, everyone kind of just defends as one, and you look up, we got more points than the other team.
How important is that locker room buy-in?
Really important. That has to be what we're about. We had some ability in length last year, and we returned some length this year, but we did lose some length. I think it's going to have to be even more of what we're about this year, Dave. I think that has to be really consistent with us. We were an efficient team offensively and defensively last year, but it began on that end for us, and it needs to continue.
Your freshman class, it looks like you have 4 players who all could be ready to contribute right away. Give us some insight into those guys and how you see their roles evolving.
Well, we're excited about all 4 of them, and including Keyshawn Woods, who's not a freshman but a graduate transfer. But all 4 guys will play an important role. I think it's Luther Muhammad and Dwayne Washington, given our lack of depth on the perimeter, will be asked to come in and play an important role. And then Justin Arns and Jadon, those are 2 guys that give us some versatility and some depth in some areas.
You talked about Woods. I mean, that 5th-year transfer, graduate transfer market has become such a huge part of college basketball, and you were able to get one of the best guys out there. What does he bring for you guys?
Some scoring, obviously, and an understanding of what college basketball is about. As much as you want your freshmen to understand that, they can't this early in their career. He's been through a grind of an ACC schedule twice, and I think he's done some things. So I think he's got the ability also to play really 3 perimeter positions for us. He's going to be really important for us, along with these guys and so many of the returners we have.
Andre, I want to talk about your brother. First of all, what's it like to have your brother on the team? What's your relationship like?
Yeah, no, it's real fun. I mean, me and him, we're always together, joking around with each other, and just playing together in college is something we've talked about since we were little, so it's fun to see it become reality.
So to me, Caleb, it feels like needs to make a jump from being a 20-minute per game guy to being a 28, 30-minute per game guy. How do you motivate him?
Just telling him that we need him. I mean, obviously he's going to be a big part of our team this year, and just getting him to do what he needs to do every day to just become that guy and be somebody we can lean on.
How's that dynamic between the 2 of them?
It's fun. I've never coached brothers before. It's fun to coach. They're 2 great kids, and it's fun. Now, they go at it with each other. They can go for hours on who had the better high school senior year. I mean, hours. But, Dre's got the ultimate chip because he won a state championship. So,
all right.
So he can win that argument. But it's great having him, and he is going to need to take a jump for sure.
Andre Wesson, CJ Jackson, Chris Holtmann, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.